Jessica have been actually sleeping and taking whole days off.
Pretty cool. I like sleep.
We've also been investing in the core product. We've had 10 releases, 10 major releases since the last state of their address, and a large number of the releases were a number of release-independent changes, which were things that happened out of band.
Nudge tool.
Like the nudge tool was a major release.
Yeah, bravo on the nudge tool.
Otherwise known as Skippy's brand. There were 3 flavors. There's major releases, fixed releases, and developer tool changes, which we're going to talk about. In the major releases, some of the highlights we had were real estate improvements, like the most excellent escrow page. And thank Vertex and NG Dave for that. Free There, which lowered the barrier and got us more people into the funnel and into the world. The rating system change, better options browsing, the Firefox conversion, so that you can actually use a modern browser to view the site. The nudge tool.
Yeah, nudge tool.
And single page signup, which once again makes it easier to get people into the world. You all know that a while ago, I just basically sort of, and people, again, you'll have a chance to ask people if I'm telling the truth or not. But I got tired of all the issues with server restarts and resets and stuff, and I just said, look, we're not going to do any more features. We're going to do releases until we fix them. And I think it's pretty fair to say we've accomplished it. We went down from, we used to restart every web server once per hour, every single one, and now we're down to 3 per day, which is pretty amazing. Server restarts, we used to get 20 to 40 restarts a day, which you saw as card games failing or zone resets. We're down to 2 or 3, Jessica?
Yeah.
Cards are better, but not perfect. Zone resets are better, but not perfect. So, and also we've seen improved performance, especially for those of you with large inventories. Some people said they didn't used to be able to run or even move when their inventory was open, and now they can. So, lots of the work was just housekeeping. It turned out that the original their code base, they would forget to delete things. So we had events from 2002 in the system. You know, we're still working on it. It's a big priority, but I think it's pretty, you know, I think things have improved a lot, and I'm sure all here that it's not, but, you know, just going to live in my fantasies. We fixed inventory performance. We stopped deleting all assets with each release. Do you all remember those days? Yep. We used to get a new release and we delete all the assets so you would get to download them again. Mm-hmm. We changed some things the way events were handled internally. We changed string handling. To tell you, suffice to say, we had millions of records of data we don't use anymore, and we made napping buggies. We didn't do sleeping buggies, but we did napping buggies. So buggies, instead of doing physics every step when they're not being driven, they just do it every few steps. Bunch of release independent stuff. Style maker bottoms.
Yes.
Previewer changes, thanks to Pixel and Brian. Club, we're working on house cleaning clubs to get rid of all these 2-member clubs. 37 of those are actually span club. And they only have 2 members.
One of them's back.
And we cleaned up a bunch of old events. You know, I like to, well, that's an interesting font.
That's cool.
That's cool. You know, so I like to keep track of things I promised and things I didn't do. So we promised you real estate, and I think we gave it to you, which is kind of cool. Rankings, we got your rankings in place for buggy racing, which, by the way, had a lot of help from Sleepy K, which is kind of sad. But we didn't extend to the other sports, so we get a big red X mark for that. We did the Firefox stuff, but I promised commerce improvements, and we didn't actually get it. So I kind of feel bad about it. I believe we improved site stability and performance. We've made some improvements to developer tools. We did previewer improvements. Style maker bottoms. We gave you the nudge tool, but we have not given you more interactivity or scripting. No. We promised you better forums. We have not been able to do that, and we have not been able to do developer lock or buttons. So, still working on being. I'd like a better score than the one. The other thing we do is we invest in the community. So that means, when I say invest in community, that means investing in community, it means investing in customer support, because they support the community. and investing in submissions group. And I think we've proven we've increased staff in all those areas. We haven't been hesitant at all. We've also invested in the developer community by giving you more things to make. We've given you some better tools, but I think we can do better. And we actually lowered the fees to developers. I think all those things show innovation. We also had a few events, thanks to Mackie, who's the event queen. I cannot get them all on this list, but we had the Winter Wonderland, 24 Hours of New Year's, Wild Wild West, their Winter Games, Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, the Their Renaissance Fair, Their Book Tales, the Abbey Celebration, and our first event with real prizes, the Their Fashion Challenge, which is kind of interesting. Right after we had our Their Fashion Challenge, MTV copied it. So we're definitely leading the charge. The other strategy is to rebuild the channel, that is getting people in the world. So we actually started PR. We hired a PR firm. I went to find a cost-effective PR firm because I didn't feel like spending, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in PR. And what we wanted was, and that's because I would rather, frankly, other companies spend enormous amounts of effort and money out there getting little articles in the paper. I'd rather spend that time in the product, working on the product and working with the customers. That's the strategy I choose. I get a lot of flack about it, but I think it pays off in the end because you are the best PR. Our community is the best PR. Not little snippets not little one-off articles about some stuff. And we choose quality over quantity. I think all of you agree that an article on the front page, on the center of the business section of the New York Times is probably better than a little box in Wired magazine. We're still experimenting with keyword marketing, which is in Google and stuff. Frankly, it's not always the best approach. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. And the results, well, you saw the slide when we gained traction. So, opportunistically explore partnerships. So we get lots of inquiries. Lots of people want to be our partners. We get lots of ideas. Like the content they want to put in is inappropriate. Like basically everything you send us, we reject. Some of them have really interesting business plans, like you build this entire world for us and then you'll get money later. And I'm like, what? So, but out of all of them, two made the cut. One was GroupNet and the other was MPD Viacom.